there's your trowel, there's your glue, there's your tiles. And it's quite clear that we need some education and some standardised of it. So, which brings me to our next speaker, which is Helen Hines-Randall from BCITO. Helen's here to give us a peek at how the next generation of tilers are shaping up, taking into account TANZ best practices. Helen's a keen traveller. Earlier this year, she explored India's Golden Triangle. She thrived in a small, efficient team where people can be themselves, and recently celebrated 17 years since the kidney transplant, a milestone for celebrating. Welcome, Helen.
Heading into uncharted territory.
Over the next few weeks, I'll be putting numbers up in lights, or more accurately up on signs. What's my title? Well, you could call me a tradie counter, number mounter, a builder spotter. I don't actually have an official title, or a job. It's more of a passion project for me. Right, here we go. Martin. BCITO population 68. 1.264% this great town are BCITO trained. That's the sign of a thriving community. This is Colin. There's a Colin in every town, sometimes 10, 100 or even 1,000. But believe it or not, we need more Collins and Collins. I put that in now. The brain drain, or trade raid as I like to call it, is an ongoing issue. Young talent is being lured overseas. But what does London or Sydney have that Sydney doesn't? Leadership opportunities, career progression, your own business here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Building and construction is a no-brainer.
Oh, no, you're right. I'll take it now. You're sure?
Well, not a no-brainer. It does help if you didn't have brains, but... Fine! An apprentice has just graduated in Wanaka. They're everywhere. There could be one right now. No, it's just some guy.
I don't know if any of you remember, we started off a few years ago with a television advert that had Michael and his dad, and basically a sister who had gone to university, and this guy was secretly looking at builders' projects on his laptop in his bedroom at night, and so mum and dad got involved. So we've had a few of those. We've had to pull the pin on those at the moment though. Who knows, we might get back to it. So yes, you know who I am. I'd like to firstly thank Steve Jenkins and Brendan for the invitation to come today. I've got with me three trained, qualified training advisors. Don't say that if you had there. Berenice and Lars are both in our Christchurch office, and Stuart is in our Blenheim office. So very happy to have those here today as well. They've been very instrumental in working not only with Brendan on the best practice guide, but also on our resources. So pretty much in July this year, BCITO launched version 2 of the floor and wall tiling qualification. That then embedded in it the new unit standard, which is called installing under-tile waterproofing systems. And as you all know, this is something that industry has long been waiting for. So in the future, all qualified tilers will have these invaluable skills. What I've got with me today, which I unfortunately won't be passing around, but basically we've got a whole new section in the reviewed qualification, and it's broken into 4 sections within their training book. Assessing the substrate, preparing to apply waterproofing products, applying waterproofing systems, and flood testing. So these are all new things. So somebody who might have got a qualification 2 years ago, or even up until this year, won't have those skill sets. So if you're going to employ somebody with a qualification in tiling, you might want to check what version of a qualification they have. So we will, certainly transition people that are in version 1, who will then go into this current version if they're not completing in the very near future. So the skill outcomes have also been updated in 5 other standards in the qualification. So the qualification is now fit for purpose, ensuring qualifying apprentices are commercially competent upon completion. 2 weeks ago, we hosted an online hour-long learner lounge for all current BCITO tiling apprentices. That was also open to tiling training advisors and any other BCITO staff who wanted to register. There was a panel of 3 industry experts, including TANZ board member Johnny McCauley, who is here today, and the BCITO learner leader Dali Gomez, who is also about to complete his supervisor qualification and are both at Milano tiling. Our very own Lance Aidan, qualified tiler, also contributed to the panel. So that's been filmed, recorded, and is available on what is called My BCITO, which is an apprentice's own portal, and that's where all the electronic resources, supplementary information, where they then put up all the evidence of the work that they've done, and it's their portal. So basically, all tilers in the future will be able to look at this, and we'll be able to put things out on social media and little snippets. Sadly, training numbers are really, really low at the moment. At the moment, we have got 88 people in formal tiling apprenticeships. So it's a little bit like the brain drain. We're not training people, the economy is down, which isn't going to help things. What we have got is in 24 we had 164 people. It's just a few numbers, nothing too big. And in 2023 there were 187. But that compares to when we had the Fees Free initiative, where over the 2 years, 2021 and 2022, each year we had over 300 apprentices. So obviously people are completing at a pace of which, you know, they're completing their work and their apprenticeship, but we're not getting in new people. So the economic situation only adds to that financial burden. So we're not really anticipating a great surge of incoming apprentices anytime soon. Earlier this year, BCITO partnered with TANZ, providing all current and all future apprentices with a hard copy of the TANZ Best Practice Guide. They have a soft copy that is on My BCITO, as well as a hard copy. All our officers have them, all training advisors have them, excuse me, won't try it. So, you know, we're really trying to get that best practice word out there into our world of training advisors and apprentices and employers. Many of you will be aware that you'll have heard about Te Pūkenga. You'll have heard that workforce development councils are being closed. BCITO is working to become a private training enterprise. So there's a lot of work being done around work-based learning at the moment. The bill that will enable BCITO to return to industry ownership is now before Parliament. This would not have been possible without extensive industry support. So thank you to those of you who subscribe to our sector newsletters, and you would have been asked to complete a short 2-minute survey. So we do thank you for your contribution. We're now preparing our application to NZQA and TEC to become a PTE, as I've said, and that will then form what is then going to be a private training enterprise where we will have a potentially different set of coverage, we don't know. We probably won't be called BCITO, but hopefully it might be something more around the PTE and that type of. The formation of the PTE is being led by the Construction Growth Council, a foundation, of which you heard Brian earlier today, and basically the CGF was established in October as part of BCITO's transition to Te Pūkenga. Establishing the PTE includes registering an industry-owned organisation. The CGF has consulted the relevant industry associations on this and has received outstanding support and registration of a charitable industry organisation that will operate BCITO PTE that was approved in August. Please be assured all BCITO industries, employers and apprentices will continue to receive great support from us through this transition. While there is transfer of ownership from Te Pūkenga to industry, this should not impact our learners or employers. I'm pleased to share with you, and I hope Steve doesn't mind, to share with you that Steve has joined the BCITO Floor and Wall Tiling Advisory Board. We meet twice a year, and he was joining us in October in Auckland when we have a National Advisory Group meeting and a half-day store summit. We have also offered a position on our National Advisory Group for a representative from the New Zealand Tile Council. So our interest in supporting all entities and stakeholders is very high on the priority list. The role of an industry advocate is pretty well much to be a key point of contact for our key stakeholders in 16 different sectors. So for floor and wall tiling, this really does build up the capacity and the knowledge within that group. So it's made up of supply chain, contractors and industry engagement. I'd like to thank TANZ for bringing together this group today with all the industry expertise that's in the room. It's been an extremely informative day and I look forward to supporting and working with TANZ in the future. That's all from me, unless there's any questions about apprentice training that I can help you with. Or not. All good? Thank you.
You said that obviously the qualifications have changed slightly. There's a 4 different components. Are you going to do microcredits so people can go, if you've already got the old qualification, you can update it with those new components?
The thing with micro-credentials is there's a limit on how many credits they can be, so they must exceed 40. There's been discussion today about whether a micro-credential would work for a licensed building practitioner scheme. The issue with that is that you would get people who might just do the micro-credential, but they don't actually know the position before waterproofing or the position after waterproofing and the other body of work around being an LPB registered practitioner. So it could be throwing the bath out with the baby, or the baby out with the bathwater, I should say. So you'd have people with just a limited strand of knowledge, as opposed to what would be embedded potentially in a full qualification, then with some commercial experience that might be gleaned for them to apply for a licence pass. But that will also involve an ISB, Industry Skills Board, that are replacing the Workforce Development Councils on the 1st of January. So it's a bit, be careful what you wish for, but as soon as we know, we'll be working with the ISB, which should probably be next year, as to how we collaborate in making sure that whatever is recognised, that there is something that a practitioner could do, because they might be a whole national certificate in floor and wall tiling, they might have got version 1, the New Zealand version, but yeah, version 2, but then you've got to look at what might happen with different skill sets around licensing. So it would be on the radar of the Industry Skills Board as to the priority to then review version 2 to embed a whole new lot of skills that lead to the recognition of them against a licence class. So you usually review a qualification every 5 years, so they may not want to turn around and do it a year later. But we'll keep you posted. If any of you want to know what's going on in BCITO in the flooring and wall tiling sector, you can go to bcito.org.nz and click on the news button and you can subscribe to any of our sector newsletters. And they'll tell you what we're up to, what scholarships might be available, different aspects that are changing that might be around a qualification. So if you're a tiler, if you're a plasterer, you can subscribe to any number of them. Thanks.
Thanks, Andy.
So this is the final part. We won't drag it out. All right, so maybe we will drag it out. Look, we'd really like to thank everyone for coming today. It's been a good event, great support, and it's been very important. I was asked about the story of Emma and her leaky bathrooms and what was the end result. After a lot of fighting different ones, there was the tiler, the builder, she actually did receive a payout. It wasn't everything she'd hoped for. So there was a certain amount of cost that she also had to wear. And it was all avoidable. And I think it's been mentioned a few times that yes, I go from these different places, these homes where people ring up because there's a problem. And it's not just financial, it's actually, we've had some clients actually crying and not knowing what to do. And who's going to pay for it? It's a bathroom. I've got a new house, I'm living in 2025, and yet I've got a bathroom which now I've got to spend $35,000 that I don't have to fix up something that I shouldn't have to fix. And it's not just the dollar, it's the emotional impact that it has on these homeowners. And I think that that's one of the main reasons why we need to really look at what we're doing to make sure that we achieve compliance. So that's really why TANZ was formed, to help an industry to reflect on information which already exists, to understand what our obligations and responsibilities are. And when we look at the program and just consider the great speeches or presentations, the great discussion pieces, I think we can all understand that we're all thinking the same thing. We're all wanting to do better for the industry and provide less work for Matt and Ben, because I've got enough as it is. And that's part of why licensing our industry is so important. Don't worry, I've probably only got one more cough to go. So look, we'd like to thank all of our speakers for their time and effort. We're a small association, we're technically not well funded, but the funding we do receive is from those supporters, and I'd like to acknowledge them. So this conference wouldn't have occurred without CGF. Wouldn't have occurred. So yes, TANZ wouldn't exist for the last 2 to 3 years without the solid support of GJ Gardner Homes nationwide. We've got our tile suppliers, Tilemax and Tile Space. They've given us support basically from day one as well. And as another supporter, New Line really bought into the concept of what we were trying to achieve as an association for the wider construction industry. So we thank them as well. We'll rattle them all off together in unison, so you only have to clap once more, which is Technicola, Wet Seal, thank you so much for this event. Neptune's Tide Liticol from Christchurch, thanks so much for your support. Jib as well, we really appreciate the support. Davco, the Wet Ball Caddies from Chris, you couldn't make it, as well as the Waterproof Membrane Association, Master Builders and Certified Builders. We'd also like to thank all of those that work behind the scenes, Brooke, Nicola, Liam, Amon, Michael, Connor, because they're the ones that were doing the dirty work where nobody sees anything happening, but they're the ones that are actually also making this event possible. And finally, we would like to thank the Novotel. They've actually put on a really good venue, facility, and it's something that we can all enjoy. So that concludes the very first TANZ conference for 2025. You have little tickets. I see some of you already know about these tickets, as I see lots of beers. But look, go for it, the bar's open. Don't be silly, please drink responsible. And if we're driving, we don't drink and drive with an Uber, and just be sensible. Feels like I'm a 55-year-old dad telling their children what to do. But no, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it, and enjoy your evening.